82 games, 16 teams, 3 series, 12 wins, 4 more to go. Bring it on! Welcome to the penalty box! Woo! The Boston Bruins knock off the Tampa Bay Lightning to advance to the Stanley Cup Final in 7 games. The story for this one was, without a doubt, goaltending. How many times have I said these playoffs that goaltending made the difference? I've said it for every round, multiple times. And that's what happened here. Both teams played great, just the team with the better goaltending took it. And there aren't that many goalies in this league who can go save for save with Tim Thomas. Tampa came out strong in this one, splitting the first 2 in Boston. But it was in that second game that Boston made a statement. Chasing Rolston from the net with 6 goals and holding off a late game rally by Tampa. And the first seeds of doubt are sown. Fast forward to Game 4, and despite Tampa winning, Rolston is chased from the net again, allowing 3 goals on 9 shots. It really wasn't his series. In goes Mike Smith, and Tampa rallies and scores 5 unanswered goals to tie the series. So what do you do in Game 5? You start Mike Smith, obviously. And hey, he played well. Oh, but Boston wins 2-1. His offense kind of let him down. So, Game 6, you got 2 goalies who want to prove themselves. One has shown that he deserves a shot. The other, over his career, has shown that he can succeed. Who do you go with? Guy Boucher has an answer for you. You go with Rolly the goalie. And Rolston rewards him for his loyalty, winning a nail-biter 5-4 to force a Game 7. And man, does he step up again in Game 7. Stopping 37 of 38 shots with a save percentage of .974. What? Oh, he still lost. Tim Thomas gets the shutout in the final game of the conference finals, stopping all 24 shots. Nathan Horton gets the series winner. He's now the hero of 2 playoff rounds, scoring the OT winner of Game 7 against the Canadiens in the first round. And that's it for the state of Florida. I mean, what can you say? The best goalie always wins. Congratulations, Boston, you've won the Prince of Wales trophy. But that trophy pales in comparison to the one you're about to play for. The Canucks take a bite out of the Sharks. I know. And win the Clarence Campbell Trophy in 5 games. This one was controlled start to finish by the Vancouver Canucks. There's really not much to talk about here. I mean, it was just all Vancouver. Yeah, the Sharks won Game 3 barely, and a brief glimpse of Vancouver caught back on their heels. But did they ever demonstrate their dominance? Over the course of these playoffs, we've seen these guys develop into champion material. It took them 7 games in the first round, 6 in the second, and now 5 in the conference final against the second best team in the conference. One thing they might want to watch out for, though, is how undisciplined this series was. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy a physical series more than most. But trips, slashes, hooks, Ben Eager, it just got crazy out there. The Canucks need to cut back on that in the final. As for Ben Eager, dude's just crazy. Tried to get his team going with his antics, it didn't work, got him scratched by his own team, whatever. Congratulations, Canucks. Only 4 wins left. Alright, here we go. 2 teams facing down that at some point I predicted would get here. Roll the tape! The contender from the East, Philadelphia. I want to add, though, that if they don't, I think Boston has an equally good chance of going all the way. They're a fantastic team, too. The contender from the West, Vancouver. And yeah, true, I did predict Tampa would beat Boston last round, but you know what, I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. So we've got 2 teams here who have paid their dues and spent their fair share of time out of the picture. As all Canadians know, the last time the Canucks were in the final was 1994, losing to the New York Rangers. The last time Boston was in the final, 1990. The last time Boston won the Cup, 1972. The last time for Vancouver, never. That's 41 years in the league without having won it. A pain Leafs fans can relate to very well. So, yeah, this is a big deal for both teams. For Canadian fans, this is the first time that a Canadian team has reached the final since 2007, when the Ottawa Senators got stomped by the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, this time it isn't the Ottawa Senators, and therefore not a team that Leafs fans are required to hate at all times. If you're a Flames fan, not so much. This series will be an epic match of skilled speed versus size. In other words, the exact type of series Boston's used to playing. And these two teams are very different. Boston scrapping and grinding its way to the top, while Vancouver just dominated after the first round. The only thing these two teams have in common is goaltending. Thomas has been stellar for Boston for years, while Luongo over the past few seasons has completed the transformation from great regular season goalie to playoff warrior, completely shedding the choker tag he was saddled with throughout his career. Boston has one factor working in their favor going into the first round: the psychological edge. Historically, Boston has had the upper hand on the Canucks, going 3-0-1 in their last 4 meetings. Then again, that was the regular season, which, when the playoffs roll around, mean approximately jack. And if you have doubts about the Canucks' ability to overcome mental blocks, rewatch their first round series against the Chicago Blackhawks. Hey, here's another spooky stat. Every time a Canadian city has hosted the Olympics, their hockey team has won the Stanley Cup the very next season. The Montreal Canadiens in 1977 after the 1976 Olympics, the Calgary Flames in 89 after the 88 Olympics. Vancouver's gunning for the hat trick. The game plan for Boston is simple. Be physical, punish the Canucks, get them off their game. While with the Canucks, use your skill and speed and just outrace them. Is this the first time that this game plan works against Boston in these playoffs? Or is it another summer of discontent in Vancouver? In the end, the Canucks are just too good. The Sedins, Kessler, Burrows, Bieksa, Ehrhoff, Luongo, the list just goes on. And don't forget, all those Canucks who are banged up are getting healthy and returning to the ice during their layoff. Ryan Kessler's skating, Christian Ehrhoff's back on his feet, and even Manny Malhotra, who's been out since the end of the season with an eye injury, has recuperated against all odds and looks ready to go in the final. The only Canuck still on the injured reserve is Mikael Samuelsson, who's been out since the end of the season, and his absence hasn't slowed them down yet. I just don't see the Bruins keeping up with a team full of well-rested, healthy, speedy, talented Canucks. It's just too much for them. So here's the prediction. The Vancouver Canucks win the Stanley Cup in 6 games, winning it in their 3rd Stanley Cup Finals appearance in franchise history, the first Stanley Cup in the franchise's history, and the first team north of the 49th parallel to win the Stanley Cup since 1993. Talk about historic! Enjoy the finals, guys. It's shaping up to be a great one. And you know I love the Leafs, but right now, go Canucks go.